what's something that a service member could do on a dating app that might seem harmless, but it might actually be, a career ender?
Yeah, I mean, be really careful what you do on a dating app and in text messaging. There's a whole lot of ways this can go wrong for you. The first thing is you don't know who you're texting. You don't know who's on the other side of that till you actually met them in person. Oftentimes, we think we live in this fantasy land where we can text online. There's no repercussions for it, but there really are. Everything that you text someone else is going to be saved either on their phone or it can be downloaded from yours. And oftentimes we get into this sexting, and people say, "Oh, sexting can't get me in trouble," but the reality is it can. And not everyone who's on a dating app who claims that they're single are actually single. Understand that from Jump Street. A lot of people are on dating apps, whether it's a guy who's married and they're saying they're not married, or a woman who says they are single but they're married. And you find out that maybe they are married. Hey, they could be married to your sergeant major, or maybe they can be married to an officer, or married to a civilian in their military. Who knows? But you find out that they're married, or even if you don't find out that they're married and you're sending all of these text messages back and forth that are overly silly sexual. For some reason, I don't understand the modern world why guys want to always send the D pic. I don't fully
Mhm.
understand the world we live in today, but I've seen an obscene amounts of pics that guys like to send. Don't send this stuff because it's in the ether forever. And if you're texting someone, you don't know who they are. You don't know if they're married. You don't know if they're not married. You don't know their personality trait. And, if a husband or a wife or a spouse or someone from the command sees this, they screenshot it. Now you can potentially have a charge of indecent communication or fraternization, or it could be, adultery, or, now it's extramarital sexual contact if you go and then hook up with someone. And that's on the benign side of things. And the other thing we see too is we see a lot of minors, mostly high school girls more than anything else, who portray themselves as adults. And there's two parts to this. We have the sting operations where you have NCIS and law enforcement agent taking on the persona of a minor. And then you have actually high school girls who are maybe 16, 17, even 15, who hold themselves out to be older, looking for service members. I mean, it's incredibly common. You have a high school girl who's on Tinder, Bumble, Badoo, whatever the app that you're on. It's an 18 plus app. They say they're 18 plus, and maybe they're in high school. Maybe their thing is trying to find a young soldier for whatever reason. Hey, it's only 3 years apart, but it's a monumental difference. If you are a young service member right out of high school and you're 18 years old, maybe it doesn't seem like a big deal that you're talking to someone who's 16 because I, 6 months ago, they would have been in high school. And maybe it wasn't a big age gap difference, but the minute you turn 18, it's a no go. Now you're in the military. You can't be dating high school girls. And maybe you don't understand that they're high school girls, and you're texting them, you're sexting them, you're sending the pics that you wouldn't want your mom to see. And next thing you know, the girl's father sees this and says, "Who the hell are you texting?" And then the command gets called. And next thing you know, you are in a tremendous amount of trouble. You're under investigation. You're pending all sorts of serious allegations because you were chatting with someone who was a minor. Maybe you didn't even know they were a minor. And so, is there a defense? Yeah, of course, there's the defense. It's called mistake of fact as to age. You had a reasonable belief that you were talking to someone who wasn't adult. But do you really want to go through that process? Do you really want to go through the process of being on legal hold, and maybe you're just finished with basic training in AIB and you're right into the fleet, and now you get put on legal hold and for a child sexual offense? Are you crazy to want to do that? Is it worth it? So be extremely cautious who you're chatting with on any type of social media app. And it leads to so many problems. You have no idea how many calls I get, how many investigations, how many careers have been ended, whether it's criminal or administrative, because you've been chatting with someone on a dating app who they say they are. And that's not even to mention the NCIS sting operations, where an NCIS agent or CID agent poses as a minor. I mean, here's the bottom line. If someone tells you on chat that they are under the age of 18, stop talking to them. Don't say, "Well, let's continue the chat," or don't give me this nonsense of, "Well, I wanted to save them. I wanted to make sure that no one, I wanted to meet them to try to make sure
Mm,
no one else
right.
would do this." Bullshit. I mean, stop chatting with them. If you want to save yourself a charge sheet of abusive sexual contact, I mean, attempted abusive sexual contact of a minor, indecent language with a minor, all sorts of potential charges, you want to save yourself $60,000 or more in legal fees, stop the chat.